Postpartum depression, anxiety, and psychosis are serious issues that can affect both moms and dads. They can even be deadly, but it's crucial to know that these conditions are treatable with the right support and care. If you suspect someone you love is struggling with the challenges of new parenthood, what can you do to help? I'm not an expert in this subject, but I've lost a friend to postpartum psychosis. I've suffered with postpartum depression and anxiety, and I've helped other friends through similar struggles. I wanted to share what worked for me and what I would have done differently in the past with the knowledge I have now to try to save the friend I lost. Firstly, it's essential to admit your own struggles. One thing I noticed immediately after becoming a new mom is that struggling parents often find it difficult to admit that they're having a tough time. Postpartum depression, or PPD, can make you feel like you're going to lose your baby to Child Protective Services if they discover how much you're struggling. I received my prenatal care with a group of families and got to know the parents of babies born around the same time as mine. If your practice offers this, I highly recommend it for the education and the community you build. There were two friends that I had within this group that I was concerned about right away. Neither seemed to have much support from their partners, and both experienced traumatic births. One had an unwanted cesarean after an unbearably long labor, while the other gave birth alone after her partner was banned from the hospital for being belligerent with the nurses. When I saw them, they both seemed crushed in spirit, and having experienced PPD and anxiety myself, I recognized what they were feeling. However, any questions about how they were doing or how things were going were met with, "I'm fine," or a blatant change of subject. So I tried a different approach. I said, "I'm so tired I could fall asleep on bare concrete. I'm terrified my son will stop breathing if I don't watch him every minute. My husband is working way too much, and when my baby cries, I feel like ripping my hair out. I feel like such a bad mom." This was all true, but painful to admit. Like my friends, I wanted to be the natural, blissful mom I had imagined myself to be, as everyone else seemed to be. But it worked. By sharing my struggles first, both moms felt they had permission to confide in me, too. I heard about their dark and frightening feelings regarding their babies, their partners, and themselves. Now I was in a position to help. It was crucial for me to remain a safe place for both these friends, so I focused on being non-judgmental. The overwhelming range of emotions and fears after the arrival of a baby is natural, for both fathers and mothers, and these feelings don't last forever. I listened and empathized where I could, sympathized where needed, and this allowed me to continue being privy to the inner thoughts of my friends. That's how I realized when one of my friends was in trouble and needed help I could not provide. Postpartum depression, anxiety, and psychosis can lead parents to think and feel things that are completely out of character for them and, at times, be truly dangerous. If you are fortunate enough to be let in on these secret thoughts, it's important to remember who your friend was before they became ill. Their feelings can range from, "I'm in over my head and just want to run away, but I'd never do it," to serious considerations of self-harm or harm to others. You'll need to use your judgment to decide whether to help them seek assistance or to call 911. To minimize the need for your arguably limited judgment, after hearing your friend out and assuring them that their thoughts don't define them and they should not act on them, the next step is to get them to professional help. This could involve seeing their primary care doctor, a therapist who specializes in postpartum treatment, or a psychiatrist. Especially if your friend has never sought professional help before, this can be daunting. They may also struggle to be as honest with a professional as they were with you. Therefore, my final and perhaps most important suggestion is to go with them. Sometimes supporting a friend may simply mean accompanying them to a parenting group, a library story time, the dollar store, or the grocery store. Anything that gets them out of the house and spending time with other adults. But if your friend is genuinely struggling, it means taking them to see a professional. I accompanied one of my friends to her primary care appointment. She had told me that her doctors were dragging their feet on treating her for PPD, and she felt she needed someone to advocate for her. We both brought our babies into the room. My son slept while I held hers as she spoke with the doctor. With a friend present for comfort, she opened up, and with her permission, I filled in some of the details. Like most things, this didn't go exactly as planned. Finally unloading the emotional burden of her struggles, she went a step further than she had with me, and admitted that her partner was abusive to her and the baby. What began as the investment of an hour in the morning to visit with her doctor stretched on late into the night as we called around finding a domestic violence shelter with a bed, went to her house and packed up her stuff, and drove 2 hours to the shelter. I share this experience with you to emphasize the unpredictable nature of helping a friend in need. You may have to pay close attention to where your boundaries and your own energy levels are, especially if you are also a new parent. But if your friend is important to you, you'll be glad you admitted your own struggles, listened, and went with them. Please subscribe if you found this useful.